Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, TT. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Good to hear. Well, we made it through. We survived what was it? Don't forget to carry the one. 11 hours between Saturday and Sunday of WWE. I guess 13 total for Friday set. And then let's see, 16 over the course of 4 days. It's 16 hours of wrestling. And it really didn't seem like enough, did it?
Nah, for once they did almost everything right.
Yeah, I gotta say, I gotta give them props. Between everything, the Universal title match, I know a lot of people crapped on like the ending, thinking it was not like, I don't know, just not a good ending. I thought it was perfect for what you wanted. Like Roman was going to win, and you had to have Roman win decisively. And to me, it evened up the decisive win by Brock a few years ago.
It seemed rushed though.
Yeah, I think they were probably just like, "All right, look, can we just get out of here? We're about done now, man." Like, So I didn't necessarily hate that match. I loved the obviously Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. We're going to talk a lot about that and what's happened since then. And I also want to talk about the women's title matches. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch just knocked it out of the park. I mean, those two, like every time you put them in a big spot and you think, okay, this might be a spot where the pressure could get done. Nope. They're unshakable. It was fantastic. The Charlotte Ronda Rousey match kind of, I don't want to say it disappointed because I think that's too strong a word for it. It definitely, like to me, it didn't quite live up to the hype. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Kinda similar to the title unification match. It just seemed kind of like, is that it? I mean, it was good, but not great.
Yeah, I think that's the way I would describe those two matches. And I'm going to get your overall grade in a moment, so I'll be thinking about that. But to me, like, if you took those two parts out, if you took the Charlotte Flair Ronda Rousey match out, and you took out the unification match, to me, like, I really have a hard time saying anything that I really didn't like from WrestleMania this weekend. I mean, even the Sami Zayn Jackass match was like, it was pretty funny. Like, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be some 5-star classic. It wasn't going to resemble Gotch and Hackenschmidt from like 1905 or whatever. Yeah, like as Jim Ross always liked to say, that was one of my favorite things. Like, there'd be a brawl in panties match, and he's like, I don't think this is gonna remind anybody of Gotch and Hackenschmidt. and it didn't, but it was entertaining. Like, and I guess that's what you asked for out of those kinds of matches. I thought the celebrities did okay. Logan Paul did good. I thought, doing the Three Amigos and the frog splash of Eddie Guerrero.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool. And that was kind of paying a respect to Ray because of how much Ray and Eddie were so close.
It was respectful and disrespectful at the same time.
Well, as far as the match concept goes, obviously in story it was disrespectful, but I think Ray, the real like, it was meant as a respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
So I really, I dug that. Miz turning on him didn't make a lot of sense to me. You're not setting anything up there. You're not having, we're not going to have, well, unless next year in Hollywood, we're going to have Miz versus Logan Paul, which I would be all for.
That's a long time to wait for that, but I guess the seeds are planted.
Yeah, I don't think like we're going to be able to build it the same way they build, The Rock and John Cena, a year of anticipation. What match do you think stood out? Like, what was your favorite part of? Forget just even rest of the whole weekend.
The best match, I'd have to say Rollins and Rhodes.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the best match of the weekend. And I'll say, as far as moment that I enjoyed the most was from Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes promo.
Speaking from the heart, no script.
That was really cool. And I saw something today that apparently Bubba Ray Dudley criticized him for using too many big words during. Like, give me a break, dude.
I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes is a smart person.
Yeah, right. Like, why don't you pick up a book sometime before we criticize somebody else for being able to? Like, I had no issue with Cody's promo. In fact, I mean, when he started to break down, when he started talking about his dad, like that tugged at my heartstrings. Like, and I'm somebody who 2 years ago I lost my dad, and so. And I feel like listening to him that he had a similar closeness to his father that I had to mine. And so, like, that drew on my emotions as well. So, like, it was cool that Cody comes out there that, like, he's able to stay in character but still deliver something so impactful and meaningful.
I know between that and the Cameron Grimes winning the North American Championship.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, thumbs up to WWE on that. Like, that was a couple cool moments there.
Right in the feels.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, like I said, just, like, I even feel like with as good as the weekend was, me pointing out the flaws in the Charlotte and Ronda Rousey match and the Roman Brock, I almost feel like I'm nitpicking. Like, I kind of feel like a JO picking on those two things. Like, dude, you had so many great matches that either met or exceeded expectations. And you're going to sit here and be like, yeah, well, Charlotte and Rousey didn't produce the way I wanted them to. And, I mean, we know they're capable of it together. Like, I enjoyed their Survivor Series match a couple years ago. Like, until the ending, I thought it was good. But this past on Saturday night, like, the match was never, in my opinion, as good as what that match was, the original match they had. And the ending was even worse. Like, I had no problem with a swerve ending. Like, that's fine. But it felt undersold and underdelivered. And then the Brock Roman Reigns match, again, a decent match, but the ending just like left so much to be desired. Like, where was the real, like, could he be a heel? Like, could you do something heelish there at the end and have him win, like, in some underhanded way?
Or like throw someone through a table.
Right.
I don't think anyone broke the announce table at all.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest winner of WrestleMania weekend was the Spanish announce table. It's kind of like in South Park, where what was it? The one Christmas episode where the only episode where Kenny survives, and at the end they're like, "Wait, I feel like something's missing. There's something feels incomplete." And then when they go to credits, you see Kenny just jumping up and down. Woohoo! I survived. Which I always thought what they should have done right then is when they do the circle like cut through. They should have just cut his head off right there. and you go up the air with them saying, "Oh my God, you killed Kenny." I think that would have been the perfect way to end the episode. But what do I know? But, I say this like 20 something years later. Yeah, I'll agree with you on the match of the weekend was Seth and Cody. I'll ask you, where do you think they go from there with Cody? Like, obviously, the long-term plan is to get him to a championship match, whether it be SummerSlam or you build it all the way for next year's WrestleMania. I think he's going to go on a long tear, nice personal rivalry, and eventually win the Royal Rumble, win the title next year at WrestleMania.
I would say have him have a couple big rivalries with people on the level of Seth Rollins, like maybe McIntyre, maybe Edge. I don't know. It's just someone big.
Ooh, I would be in for a Cody Edge rivalry.
And I don't know if he should win Money in the Bank. That's like, what, 2-3 months away?
Yeah, what is that supposed to be in June, I think.
That might be too soon. Yeah, maybe have him win the Rumble.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
Then
who I think they should have win Money in the Bank? It would be his third time carrying it, Edge. And let Edge cash in Money in the Bank, and that's how you end Roman Reigns' title reign.
I'm with that.
I think it would be the perfect way to do it. And then that can lead into Edge, Cody, WrestleMania 39 next year in LA.
It will be the roads to WrestleMania.
Exactly. That's yes.
Sorry,
yes, that. All right, WWE, if you heard that and you're going to use it, you got to pay T. Pay the man.
It's live right here, right now. We got video proof. I said it first.
That's right. The 13-minute mark. Here we are on April 7th, 2022. T has proclaimed that it will be the roads to WrestleMania. I do love it. It's really cool. I'm into that. Should he pick up any other singles titles on the way? Like maybe a US title reign or
maybe. Why not?
Because I'm just trying to think of like what little rivalries you can have him in. Like you could have him face KO or something at WrestleMania Backlash. And I wouldn't.
They could do something with Austin Theory and Mr. McMahon, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, I actually think that would be perfect. Cody and Austin Theory. Yeah, and that would be also elevating Austin Theory again. Because I want to see him pushed into some of those like main event level feuds because he is going to be the future. Like he's 24 years old. Like this kid's young. He's so athletic. He can freaking jump out of a building from a standing position. Like without a running start, he could jump out of AT&T Stadium.
I think I see what Vince sees in him. Reminds him of Shane.
Yeah. And I think that is going to be something we're going to see over the years. I think it's going to be what crazy thing is Austin Theory going to jump off of?
Yeah. Well, remember, was it last month or the month before? Elimination Chamber got F5'd off of the top of the pod.
Exactly. Like I want to see stuff like that with Austin Theory. Like And of course, one thing we can't go this episode without talking about. You called it, man. You nailed the whole idea with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It turning into a match, a no holds barred match, and they tore that. When they started that, I thought for sure all we were going to get, Austin was going to stomp a mud hole in Kevin Owens. He was going to try to counter at some point, maybe even get a low blow, go for a stunner. Austin pushes away from it, so there's no stunner. Then Stone Cold stuns KO, beer bash, go home. Like, I thought that was going to be the plan. Yeah, within 5 minutes, Austin would have gotten the victory and would be standing in a corner, bashing the beers together. And I thought it was going to be perfect. What I got was even better than I expected.
Yeah. Man, he took bumps.
He took bumps. He sold. It was all of a sudden 1999 Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the building. And he was hot as could be.
It was like playing a match on 2K22.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a beat, man.
It was perfect, and that's the way for Stone Cold to go out. I'm glad that now, after all this time, he's not going to have that, like, that last match, like, the Brothers of Destruction and DX had in Saudi Arabia. That was just an absolute train wreck. All due respect to train wrecks.
Yeah, that match didn't need to happen.
Yeah, in fact, I have never been tempted to go back and rewatch that match on Peacock, and I still don't think. Like, if you try to assign that to me, I will just put 0 for the assignment. No. Fair warning. I will never even acknowledge that match took place. I also liked. How do you feel about bringing the Hall of Fame inductees out both nights?
Well,
I kind of felt
night 2, they only brought out Undertaker.
I thought they brought out everybody. Well, or at least like half the crew. Like,
nah, they Sunday, everyone else was mentioned. They're like Vader.
And they only brought out the Undertaker. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that? Like, to me, it's like you do it one time and that's all you need.
Well, I guess I can understand them doing it for the Undertaker, just to see his entrance as much as we can before he goes.
Sure.
Like, yeah, just one night. Like, all right, we thank them for all that they've done. Now, go watch the show like the rest of us are trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, I do honestly always look at the Hall of Fame portion as like another bathroom break. And it's so bad because I'm just like, man, those guys were awesome. They were legends. They did so many great things. And here they are getting their big moment. And all I can think about is, okay, I guess I'm using this opportunity to go to the bathroom.
Well, I mean, they're not doing anything.
Right. Like, and it's not like me standing there watching and cheering them is going to, like, they can't hear me. Yeah, as everybody's so quick to point out when I'm watching football games and yelling at the TV, they always point out to me that they can't hear me. And to which I will always respond, oh, absolutely, they hear me. They hear me. Just like that wrestler when, the bad guy's getting up and he's got salt in his hands and he's coming from behind, the referee's down and telling the good guy, look out, look out, look out. Oh, he can hear me. Now, granted, normally I'm trying to help the bad guy. Have you watched any of the Evil documentary series?
I watched the first one, which was Hogan.
Right.
But I was tired and fell asleep.
Yeah, I really like. It turned into like a career retrospective thing. Like that's all of them are. It's like, okay, like we don't need all that. Just tell me about them being bad guys.
I don't know, like from the freaking commercials and vignettes you see like Sasha Banks is like, you're not supposed to make kids cry. Sasha Banks makes kids cry. Like, where's all that stuff at?
I mean, it's in there, but like it's all about like, oh, when I came up, like growing up, this is what I wanted to do, and it's like, okay, well, like that doesn't make me look at you as evil.
Like, I just want to see your evilness.
Right. Like, this isn't supposed to be, about you showing me your personality. This is supposed to show me about how you like playing a bad guy.
Yeah, just like show the big heel turn and then talk about that. I don't want
Right.
to hear like they grew up so and so and then trained and this and that, and I'm like, okay, we know
If I
that.
want that, I'll watch like one of those 24 documentaries where like one of my favorite ones was the one they did about the Miz. Or like the old DVDs they used to release. Now they don't do any DVD releases anymore. Um, where like, and I had a collection of a bunch of them. Like I had Mick Foley's DVD. I had Triple H's, Shawn Michaels, somebody else who we're not supposed to mention. Oh, I guess we can mention him. Chris Benoit. It's Jordan at the Pro Desk. He likes wrestling too. And we were talking about I told him I said I grew up a Chris Benoit fan. He said he was more of an Eddie Guerrero guy. I said, hey, I liked Eddie too. Which I actually love that people who will acknowledge it, Chris Benoit, will talk about like it's you're either a Benoit guy or an Eddie guy. Although I like them both, but like how closely those two are associated.
I don't know if I could pick one over the other.
Right? I mean, I guess because he wasn't an evil bastard, I'll take Eddie Guerrero, but
I mean, Eddie had more charisma. I'll give him that.
definitely. Well, I identified with him more, and I think when I explain the reason why I think you'll understand and kind of be on my side on this. I'm a little quieter. Like I know, like these shows and stuff, we talk and we have to be more outgoing. But in my natural settings, I'm more of a I don't want to say reserved, but I'm like quieter. And so and especially when I was younger, I was even more quiet. Like, and so I really identified really well with the Chris Benoit when he did the whole silent but violent routine in WCW. I like that character spoke to me. And I feel like, you would be one of those that would understand that as well. The silent but violent guy. Like there was something to that character, and there was something about the introvert in so many people that would enjoy that kind of character.
I'm with you on that one.
And I think that was more of like the real Chris Benoit. He was the kind of guy, he just wanted to get in the ring, get in the 20 by 20 and show you what he could do, as opposed to get on a mic and take you on this emotional ride. His emotional ride was more of the watch what I do in the ring, watch the way about I would put his battle, I believe it was Slamboree 97 against Ming in a death match. I would put that match as far as being able to tell you an emotional story. Like I put that up there with any match. And Chris didn't he was being, the crippler. He was quiet and you could see him like part of the story is like the concern that Chris Benoit was in this kind of match with this big monster. And you see him like in an interview the week before, he kind of tells Woman like, hey, no matter what happens, do not throw in the towel. Don't give up for me. Let me have this fight. And you could kind of see right at the start of the match, the great ring psychology. You see him look at her and just shake his head no. Like, don't, like, again, reiterating that idea. And I'm just like, that was like good consistency with the story. That was very well done. And so, like, that speaks to that kind of character. And there was a point that I was trying to get to with all of this, which has escaped me. But I guess my point being that the Chris Benoit character was such a great character for, I would think for a lot of wrestling fans to be able to identify, like, at least the stigma of the wrestling fan being 40 years old in their parents' basement and being introverts. And Chris Benoit being this introvert and the character portraying itself that way, I think was somebody that was very identifiable with a large portion of the audience. It's just a shame that then he decided to murder his family.
Yeah, that's not really a good thing.
That would be the understatement of the night. That's not really a good. I love it. Oh God, I love it. That was fantastic. Oh man, I don't even know if you intended it to be that funny, but it was that funny. I don't know where we go from there. That wasn't a good thing. No, T, it was not. Whew. Yeah, we go down the rabbit hole. That's fun. Okay. Before we start talking about what we think is going to happen next, do we want to think about what super? I hadn't really given any thought to this week's homework assignments. Heck, we could even skip this week's assignments if we want. It's our show. We can kind of do what we want.
You're player one.
All right. Well, let's make our theme just a hold on to the WrestleMania spirit week. So we'll pick a WrestleMania match. I will give you the end of an era match. Triple H, Undertaker, inside a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28. Shawn Michaels as the referee. That's your assignment. And you can pick from any match throughout the history of WrestleMania.
I will pick the match I blurted out at the end of last week's show. Edge versus Mick Foley in their hardcore match.
Okay.
22, was it?
Yes. All right. I'm about it. I like that match. It's one of my favorite matches. The match where Joey Styles lost his WrestleMania virginity. His words, guys. His words.
That's the match to lose it to.
Yes, seriously. That was a hell of a match. And I thought, did you ever hear Mick Foley's story about after the match, his wife calls him, and the first thing she says to him is Edge okay? He's like, I got put through a flaming table. Can you ask if I'm all right? She's like, oh, but you're fine. You're fine. I know you. You can take that stuff. Is Edge all right? Yes, Edge is fine. Do you want to talk to him?
Yeah, I guess Mick Foley could take that.
Yeah, he was used to it. He did that stuff. Going through a flaming table was just how Mick Foley spent a Wednesday night. Yeah, he calls his wife and just says, "Hon, I had an accident. I fell through the table." Oh, that's all right. Yeah, it was also on fire. Oh, okay. No follow-up. No. Wait, how did the table get on fire? Wait, why did you fall through it? It broke from you falling through it? I feel like it would just be all right, well, what are you going to do?
See you when you get home.
All right, we'll go pick up a new table later. All right. So right now, Roman Reigns stands as your sole WWE Universal Champion. Who's first challenger?
That's a really good question.
Because they really don't have anybody very well positioned to be that first challenger.
Plus, he's already beaten like everyone.
Right.
I don't know.
You know, there is one guy that he faced that he didn't beat.
Seth freaking Rollins?
Hell yeah, that's who I'm saying. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania Backlash. Now, I know Edge just lost at WrestleMania to Cody. Now, there's a precedent for this. Diesel lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 12 and then challenged for the title the next month. AJ Styles lost to Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32 and then challenged Roman Reigns a month later. So, like, you can set it up. Like, have a fatal four-way match or something and have Seth Rollins in it and have Seth win the match. And Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania Backlash.
I guess Seth does own one after that embarrassing Rumble finish.
Exactly.
Thing for him.
I think that would be a great main event for Backlash. I don't really know. Like, it does feel like every rivalry kind of had a nice little bow tied on it. You know, there's not really anywhere to go with any, like, I mean, maybe Edge and AJ Styles might have another match, but, and I'd be fine with that actually being the main event, but Roman should have to defend the titles at WrestleMania Backlash.
And speaking of defend the titles, like, is it one title now? Like back when they unified the WWE and World Heavyweight title? And
that was my understanding, is now it's one championship, but they're going to walk around with two belts for a while.
And then this eventually dropped the less popular one.
Or design a new belt, and that'll just be the belt.
That's what I was hoping they were going to do at Mania.
I had heard a rumor that they were going to go more old, like bring an old school title back, like the old Eagle Wing belt. And that was going to be the new WWE Universal Championship.
I'm fine with that.
I would be as well. I always liked the Eagle Wing belt. That was my favorite growing up. Of course, it was the only one that I even really. Well, Hulk Hogan's original belt, like I didn't mind that one, but it didn't feel like a world title. When the new one came out at WrestleMania 4, I was like, okay, that's a world championship. And I didn't hate the Attitude Era one, but like the only belt I'd say that I really hated was the spinner. And a lot of traditionalists didn't like the spinner belt.
I mean, I like how in your face it was. Like, yeah, I'm a champ. And then Edge did his own, no pun intended, spin on it.
Although, to me, the favorite part about the spinner belt was when Rob Van Dam won it and they gave him the ECW championship. And you could tell Paul Heyman wanted him to throw the WWE title down. And Rob Van Dam goes, no, I'm going to keep them both. Hey, this one spins. He gets all excited by it. Yeah, I enjoyed that part. But that's it. That's the only part of the spinner belt that I liked. And I didn't mind the Undisputed. I wouldn't mind them going back to the Undisputed championship belt. the one that they had before Cena introduced the spinner. Which it's funny. Jordan told me, at the pro desk, he ordered that. He got himself a replica belt of that undisputed championship, and like 2 months later, WrestleMania happened. WrestleMania 21, John Cena wins the belt, and they ditched that one for the spinner. he's like, I got this new belt, and he's like, I'm thinking this is gonna be around forever, and then it was like 2 months later, yep, it's gone.
That's kind of like when I bought the red Universal.
The red Universal title, yeah. And then Seth Rollins dropped it like a month later to Bray Wyatt, and he takes it to SmackDown, and then it becomes a blue championship.
It's blue.
Which I actually got this when I went to WrestleMania 35 at the Fan Fest. They had the Cricket Wireless. They had this spot where they had a replica WWE title and Universal title, and so and you could pose for it. They had an area like that was the top rope, and you stand on there and you hold the belts up. And I had this great picture with me holding both the WWE and the red Universal title, and just holding up and just with my tongue my tongue sticking out, and it was hilarious. And I'll have to find that and see if I can post that somewhere here, like on the Facebook page.
Speaking of coworkers and replica belts, Mike from receiving, he was telling me he got that, well, a mini version, but he got that special Undertaker belt.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's also got a WWE and the classic Intercontinental belt, the black strap one.
The black strap one, I like that one. I always preferred the black strap to the white strap. To me, I always associated the white strap, at least when I was a kid, as the heel wore the white strap one. Like Jeff Jarrett wore the white strap. Shawn Michaels wore the white strap. When Razor held the Intercontinental title, he had the black strap, except for the night he lost it to Jarrett. And when I saw him wear the white strap out, I'm like, oh yeah, he's losing the belt tonight.
What was up with the yellow strap? That was just...
Was that just the Warrior that wore that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Why?
I know Goldust had a gold strap one.
Why yellow? That's such a dumb color.
It was like a neon yellow. He wore all those neon bright colors.
Yeah. I mean, Goldust makes sense. That's
sure. What are your feelings on the current Intercontinental title? It's taken a while for it to grow on me.
I don't hate it.
How about the U.S. title?
I don't hate it either.
I definitely preferred the old U.S. title, and that took a while to grow on me because I was hoping they'd bring the classic WCW version of the U.S. title. And it took a while for it to grow on me, but now it's like I look at the current U.S. title, I'm thinking like, man, the old one would look so much better on that dude than this thing. I don't know why this one just seemed like both of them just seemed like knockoff titles. Like they don't seem like, that like they're going to be the title. I can't picture, when they did the DVD with like the world title one, and they had the world title belt on the big gold belt, which is still the greatest belt in all of wrestling. I can't picture them putting either one of those pictures on a DVD case with the classic U.S. title matches, Intercontinental title matches. Like if they were going to change the belt to another Intercontinental, I wish they would have changed it to the older one, the one that The Rock broke out in, was it 98? The kind of the blue backing to it.
Not ringing a bell. I'd have to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent belt, and I would love it if all of a sudden they just transitioned back to that belt. This one.
Well, I guess they could just change it whenever. I mean,
Oh, sure, I guess. Yeah, because
okay.
they didn't do anything special to have Shinsuke Nakamura debut this new one.
I mean, look at Mandy Rose on Saturday when she came out with her.
I'll look at Mandy Rose anytime you want. So you
Well,
set me up for that one.
for 5 seconds, if you look at her NXT championship.
Look, I didn't like. I didn't even know she was wrestling. I was just staring at her.
Her title got redone. It's now got a white strap, and the face is like a kind of rainbow metal. I don't
I
know.
haven't gotten to her face yet. I'll let you know when I get there. I can't. Yeah, obviously she's beautiful. She's wonderful. Like, very easy on the eyes, but she can wrestle too. And yeah, I did notice the, the new belt. I just had to get my jokes in.
I know it's hard for me to see too.
Right? Your thoughts right now on Toxic Attraction? I think they're fantastic. I think they're the highlight of NXT, and not just because all three of those women are absolutely gorgeous, but they can all three wrestle really well. And that's a great thing about the women's division right now. So many of them are yes, obviously they're gorgeous, but man, they can go. Like, they can wrestle.
Yeah, 90 something% of them are very attractive, but 100% of them can wrestle. Well, night, let's say 98%. So 90% of them look good, and 98% of them percent can wrestle good.
Yeah, I mean that's a far better ratio than it used to be, when it was 100% of them looked good and 1% could wrestle, and that 1% that can wrestle is probably the least attractive of the group and will get no push whatsoever.
At least we're past the days of those bra and panties matches and fulfill your fantasies and mud pen matches and whatever else stupid stuff. Oh hell, if they were to do that, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't be mad at some of these women being in those matches.
I mean, hey, it would be bra and panties and good wrestling.
Right? That kind of seems like the best of both worlds. That seems like a win-win.
That would be a win-win. But for real, though, I'm glad we.
Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, bra and panties match.
That'll sell some tickets. Some Peacock subscriptions or whatever.
Exactly. But overall grade for WrestleMania.
I'd say like somewhere between. You know what? I'd say A minus.
Okay.
Like
That's
a
fair.
94 or something. Is that a minus or just an A? Whatever.
Well, 94, I guess, would be just a solid A. I was going to go A minus, like a 90, 91%. The only thing that drops it down a little is almost like the clunkiness of the Charlotte and Ronda Rousey match. Just neither one of them seemed comfortable at any point. And then the other one, the end of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, just kind of felt like, hey, we kind of felt each other out for a while. Yeah, we did a couple cool things, but then, oh shit, we got to end this. All right, let's go.
Well, I've heard, I don't know if it was true, but if it is, then understandable.
Mm-hmm.
When Roman got caught in the Kimura,
Mm-hmm.
I think he like legit his arm came out the socket or whatever.
Well, I saw like at one point they kind of like had
Yeah.
like a wide shot there, and you see Roman kind of pop his arm back into place.
You saw when they had the camera on him, he was yelling to Paul, "It's out! It's out!" So I don't know if that was that or.
Yeah, it could have been him selling it, or it could have legit been out.
I mean, hey, if that was selling, then
Yeah,
cool.
the great sell job.
But still, the finish, regardless, was not
Yeah,
good. I mean,
overall, great show. Enjoyed a couple of the matches more than I thought I would. Like I said, the Sami Zayn Johnny Knoxville match, I didn't think I'd even want to pay attention to. It was entertaining. It was good.
still, there was no Steve-O, though, but hey, it was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
At some point, I think I'm going to go back and rewatch the whole pay per view, just like this time with more of a an eye for what I'm looking like. Because when you watch something the first time through, like you're inevitably going to miss stuff because you're just trying to see what big thing is happening right now. And now that I kind of I know what generally is going to happen, I want to go back and see what else stands out from the show. And I always like to do that like a week or two after WrestleMania is go back and rewatch the whole thing. So I'll probably do that here in the next week. But yeah, good show. I definitely, I'm anxious to see where they go from here. Like what can be your headline for Backlash? Because, hey, look, that's going to be coming up on us. I forget when that is. Did you see when they announced that?
I think it was like early May.
I wanted to say I know SummerSlam is slated to be on a Saturday. I couldn't remember if they put Backlash on as well. I'll check and we can talk about that next week. But we'll give you maybe some thoughts next week as we think about like what could be like a Backlash main event and some of what that undercard could look like. Because right now, I'd say like they pretty much have a clean slate. They can kind of go any way they want. And with them, using Raw tag team champions on SmackDown or SmackDown tag team champions on Raw, like I would personally look for them to unify those belts soon as well. And I still want to see the women's championship unification. But I think Bianca and Charlotte would be a nice match to have.
Yeah.
We haven't had that before, have we?
Not when Bianca was as big as she is.
Oh, right. Yeah, they did face each other in NXT. Because she started the "You Don't Go Here."
Now that Bianca's got 2 WrestleMania title wins under her belt.
That's the thing. Like, I like that they've elevated some of these women. Like, it's one thing to have that great female star like a Ronda Rousey, but now when you throw in this supporting cast of Charlotte Flair's achieved everything. She's a 13-time women's champion. You've got Becky Lynch, now a 2-time WrestleMania main eventer, along with Bianca Belair, Bayley and everything that she's done. And I can't wait for the day. Bayley's got to be coming back soon. Because I remember when I first heard about her injury and thought about how long she would be out, I thought, man, like on the short end, she could be back by the Rumble. Long end, like sometime right after WrestleMania. So hopefully in the next month or so, we see Bayley back in action. That'd be nice.
Well, I did hear reports of another woman returning, possibly this Friday, which I guess is tomorrow.
Asuka?
Close, but not really at all.
I like that. Close, but not at all. Okay, who was it?
Lacey Evans, a name you haven't heard in quite some time.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to see Lacey Evans back. That's another one gorgeous and can go.
Need to get some titles on her.
Okay, I'm going to refrain from the jokes I could use there. But yeah, absolutely. I would enjoy. I would enjoy if you bring Lacey Evans back. I would giving her a monster push.
Hey, maybe she could face Charlotte at Backlash.
Yeah, either Charlotte or Bianca. Like you could bring her back as a heel too, and have her feud with Bianca. I think that would be entertaining.
Yeah.
And obviously, Carmella and Queen Selena, they're done as a tag team, and it looks like they're going to break up. I think Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
I heard reports. I gotta stop saying that.
I love you. No, hey, go for it. What were your reports that you heard?
That Rhea Ripley might be joining Edge's Dark Brood stable that he's got going on.
Ooh, love it. And maybe she challenges Bianca. Maybe she wins the Raw Women's Championship from Bianca Belair. Yes, please. Give Liv Morgan the push.
I mean, after what we seen Monday, they're going in that right direction so far.
Absolutely. I love what they're doing with that. And please tell me they're going to start bringing stables back. And MVP. Dude, we didn't even talk about MVP turning on Bobby Lashley to join Omos. I mean, I figure we got to see a Bobby Lashley versus MVP at some point, right?
Maybe. I wonder if he'll get Shelton and Cedric and reform the Hurt Business, but with Omos instead of Lashley.
I think that would be awesome as well.
Because, I mean, you got to make Omos. You got to, I hate to say it, protect Omos.
You do.
And that would be more opposition for Lashley to blast through.
And that would be fun to watch.
Yes.
I love when we see Focus Destroyer Bobby Lashley. And I want to see that. I want to see Lashley mow through Omos. All right, guys. I think we'll go ahead and get out of here. We did our homework assignments for this week.
I forgot what mine was already.
It was a WrestleMania match. Oh yeah, the end of an era.
End of an era. Okay.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll be back here next week. And until then, T, anything to add?
That was the best WrestleMania in quite some time.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. All right, everybody. See you next week. Happy wrestling.
See ya.